All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebonie again, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style. And today we have Miss Asia with us. How are you, Asia?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with us. You guys, she is at work right now and taking a little time to share some jewels with you. So please stick around to the end and hear what Miss Asia has to share. For those of you that do, you'll have an opportunity to earn a complimentary gift. So stick around and let's benefit from what she wants to share with us today. So Asia, can you start us off so we get to know a little bit more about you and just share a personal motivational quote that really inspires you, something that encourages you and gets you going?
It's motivational for me, but I don't know how everyone else will take it. I'm very much a person who can get bogged down in things that shouldn't happen or that have happened. So I try to always remind myself, is the quote, to let go of things that you thought should have happened and realize that you need to focus on the now. And being present is something that I always try to be mindful of and to appreciate the present and what's happening now. So I hope that was motivational to some people, but to me, it keeps me in perspective.
Yeah, and a lot of times I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the future, or I'm thinking about, past events that may have occurred in my life. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't live in that past anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the future holds. So why don't I just sit here and enjoy what's in front of me?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times we're just so future oriented, especially when I've noticed when we're driven individuals, because we like to make plans and goals. And it can be difficult to just stay in the now because you're thinking about, well, how can I move to that next level or that next step so I can improve myself? So sometimes staying centered in the moment can be very difficult. I know that for myself. So I usually will have to say, Ebonie, 5 years from now, who cares? Focus on the next 5 minutes and just be happy and free in this moment. I constantly have to remind myself to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share a time in your life where maybe you didn't necessarily see the light at the end of the tunnel? Maybe you weren't always present driven. Maybe you were past driven, living in depression, or maybe you were future oriented and experienced anxiety at times. What is something that you experienced where you didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but at the end of the day, you were able to see that goal or that dream to fruition?
So my story, and I hope it relates, is really, I would say, one of the darker moments in my life. So it would happen around my second year of college, and I apologize, I'm outside at Starbucks.
That's okay.
But I was coming home from college, and my sister was home too. She was in high school at the time, and she was telling me that the house has been different. It's been strange, just the energy. And so the little while I was there, like the first day, I realized it. And I said, mom and dad are acting different. And so that is down. And was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of cancer that I really didn't know about. He seemed fine to me, and I don't know, it was just scary, to think. It was my first real look at mortality. Even though I've had my grandparents pass away as a young child, I thought it was a little different that it happened so close at home. And you feel hurt, and you don't think, that your family deserves this, your dad deserves that. But what really helped me get through it is seeing how my dad lived in the present. My mom would be like, Rob, you need to slow down, or you need to, I guess, take it easy. But my dad still went to work every day. He still acts as if everything was fine. Going through chemo, I never went to chemo with my dad. I only went once, and I couldn't handle it. But I would have never known, people would never have known that he had cancer, that he was going through chemo, just because of how his perspective, he continued on living. And what I gathered from that is that even when life throws you obstacles, some things are just unavoidable, that you still have to keep on living as if there is nothing wrong, living in the present. So that was, I hope that's my story.
Yeah. I love that story because when you look at someone, and if anybody should be feeling depressed and out of it, it should be sometimes the people that are actually going through the most. But sometimes we can learn a lot from those people that are going through the most, that continue to just live a more joyful life and feel at peace with what's going on. And sometimes we have very minor things going on and we're like catastrophizing it, you know? So I love stories like that where I'm like, wow, where do you get your sense of peace and joy from? That's amazing. I'm sure he inspired other people around him too, because you know how it is when you're around people and, you know, they're down and depressed or they're angry or overwhelmingly, you know, frustrated. It affects your energy and your emotions too. So being able to be around him and him feeling as peaceful as he was with his situation, I'm sure it inspired other people too. Can you talk a little bit about how we can gain support when we're feeling like maybe like we're not at our best, where maybe maybe we have a goal in mind that we would like to reach, and we're feeling like, man, in order to get from point A to point Z, I need to be able to build a support network, but I don't know who that should be right now. It doesn't seem like anybody understands me right now. So can you talk about maybe some challenges that you face with support system, and or maybe some things that help get you through certain situations that maybe can empower other people?
So when I was thinking about the support system question and how people can find, I guess, their tribe, I guess, to help them. And I was thinking like, man, you know, that's tricky, because just naturally, if it's not family or something, you feel hesitant to try to bond with other people because you don't know their intentions. You know, they might have an ulterior motive or something. So I was inclined to first start with, when you're thinking about building a strong support system, that you have to be strong in yourself first. Because sometimes people are not going to be there to support you. I find that most people who have a strong support system are very strong and centered in who they are and their authentic self. And that can be challenging and difficult to do. I'm still learning how to be authentic with myself, not necessarily with other people, but to be true to myself. So building that foundation, I think, securing a strong security system within yourself, then you'll find that you naturally find people who are like your tribe, your soul sisters or whatever. But it first comes, you can't attract a support system, you know, without I feel, sharing energy that gravitates people towards you. So I hope that was clear for people who don't have a support system. It's just meant to say that, you know, before you search for something that's out there and I feel maybe draw negativity to you, I think that you should focus on finding the light within yourself, being true to your true to self, and then you'll find that everything will come to you. And that's just my opinion.
Yes, and I think that it's so true. It's kind of like, how can you expect other people to naturally just treat you the best, and you yourself are not treating other people the best that you can treat them? You know, it's kind of like it's reciprocated. Now, yeah, you'll find those rare people that they don't really care how you treat them, and they're going to always treat you with love and respect. But when you really stop and think about most people that are walking down the street, they're not going above and beyond for you. Most people are about me, myself, and I. You know, they're very ego driven. So I always say, you know, be the change that you wish to see. If you wish to see more people loving on you, well, then show more love to other people, you know. So yes, I love that. And also, sometimes when it comes to building a support system, maybe our family and friends, they really don't understand what we're going through because they haven't gone through it before. But that doesn't mean that someone else may not understand. So in certain situations in my life where I know that my family and friends have no clue what I'm talking about and what my goals are. Sorry, you guys, I have a little hiccup in my throat. I wasn't feeling well this morning. So you guys are supporting me right now by being present. But anyway, I know that sometimes when we're, you know, going through certain things and we don't feel like our family and friends have our interests, it's because they don't really understand it. So what I've done is I just reach out to people in other communities that do have similar interests. And most times people love talking about what they do, especially if they excel at it. So then you can build a support network that way by just reaching outside and knowing that most times people are okay with supporting you when you have similar interests because they love to talk about it. You know, I always say too that if you expect for no one to support you, well then that's exactly what you're gonna get. No one to support you. Talk a little bit about self-care and how that helps us to be able to attain our dreams, because sometimes we may have support, we may know what our vision is, we know exactly what we want to do, and we just don't feel good. For example, right now I just got finished talking about how I was feeling that great, right? And I'm someone that does provide myself with self-care, but when I'm not feeling that great, I'm not at my best to serve. I'm at my best to just rest in bed. So talk a little bit about how continuing to give ourselves self-care and feed our spirit can help us with attaining our goals.
Yeah, so even speaking about you, and you don't feel well right now, but I think you're practicing self-care by resting when you can. So being able to listen to your body, even if you don't really know what it's saying, you know when something's not right. So like right now for me, probably for most people, everyone is trying to get healthy. If you need to lose a little bit of weight or not. I've always played sports and been an active person. So I kickbox. That helps me when I have a rough day at work because it's been a rough week. It's not even Friday yet. But I find joy, physically doing things. It helps me with my emotional. So I guess that's self-care. Basically, I think it's just listening to your body. It doesn't always have to be the generic working out and eating, but realizing when people are draining you, maybe negative energy, that you find that your emotional state is not healthy where it should be. You need to realize or try to find out what's draining you, and you can try to repair it, or you can choose to eliminate it. But being aware of your surroundings and aware of your body, it will tell you when it's not happy. When you're mentally not healthy, your body lets you know. So I think overall the message, self-care, when you're listening to yourself, and taking the necessary steps to overall help yourself heal, whether that's resting when you're tired, cutting off people who are energy vampires, if that's the case, or basically helping so that for your kids and your life. Ultimately, when you're at your best state, really nothing can stop you.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes we confuse self-care with having to spend, like an hour a day doing it. Sometimes it could be as little as 15 minutes of something that brings us pleasure. So for you, if that's painting a picture, or that's going to garden or take a walk, or some people prefer to go get a massage or get the nails done, you don't even have to spend money on it. Just something that brings you that sense of fulfillment in your day, so that when you do feel stressed out from your 9-to-5 job or whatever it is that you typically do in your day, from your family or whatever, you say, well, at least I have some peace at these moments in the day. And it all adds up. When you continuously do it, you miss it when you don't do it. So I think that just being mindful of it and not feeling guilty if there's a busy day and you can't provide yourself with self-care, not, beating yourself up because, oh my God, I couldn't give myself self-care today, just, going with the flow and accumulating as much self-care as possible. It all adds up by the end of the year, and be able to then give yourself a little bit more energy to serve people with your gifts in whatever way that is. Finally, can you just share some words of encouragement for ladies that feel like, Asia, I hear you, Ebonie, but I'm stuck where I am right now. And for those of you that have listened all the way to the end before she answers this question, keep in mind that sometimes, you know, people do get to a point where they are feeling stuck and they don't know which direction to take, and that's totally normal. All of us feel that way. I feel that way all the time about certain things. But I always say that, you know, it's okay to take baby steps and just continue to seek out people that are positive, like-minded individuals. And a lot of times, even when I can't figure things out, I'm confused about certain things, just having that positive light around me is helpful. So for any of you listening, remember at the beginning of this interview, I said that you'll earn a complimentary gift if you stick around to the end. I invite you to join my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. It's Nutrition, the number 4, Busy Women Facebook group. And when you join, I'll give you some resources on how to identify what your best skill set and gifts and personality type is. Because sometimes we have an issue with trying to mesh everything together. How can we mesh our career experience with our natural gifts, with our natural talents, and our natural selves in order to build momentum into living a more purposeful life? Sometimes we need that groundwork laid, and I have free resources that I'll provide to you. If you're not on Facebook and you want to still take advantage of those resources, just send me an email. My contact info is in the description box. Just send me an email and I'll get those resources to you as soon as possible. But Asia, can you just give some words of encouragement for ladies that feel like, I hear everything you're saying, but I just can't move into what I know I need to be doing for myself?
So, well, first of all, if you know that you're stuck, that's the first step. If you know that you have more in you, that's amazing because you're growing and realizing that. And I would just encourage you to step out and be afraid to fail if that's the case. But take that chance, because usually when you step outside that box because if you feel stuck, there probably is something that you can do, but it scares you a little bit. It's uncertain. You know, you think you have too much to lose, but really, if you don't have anything to lose, then it probably isn't that much of you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough. You're not expanding yourself to your full capabilities. So all I can say is if you're feeling stuck, continue to move forward and to seek out things that scare you a little bit. Seek out people that you wouldn't normally talk to, or you might be afraid because you think that you're not educated enough or you don't have the experience to do stuff. Take those chances because that's the only way, and at least in my experience, that I've been able to get anything, by making bold moves and doing things that scare me.
Yes, you know, I love that. Oh my gosh. So this year I have started doing that myself, where in some areas of my life, I'm like, I would never do that. I would never ever send someone that text message. I would never ever make that phone call. I would never ever go there. I would never do that. But in order for me to be able to move outside of my comfort zone in other areas that really mean a lot, I need to get comfortable with something outside my comfort zone. And I realize every single time I do it, I feel so much better. Like, wow, that really wasn't even that difficult. And life went on, you know, and nobody beat me up for it. Nobody said, you know, you suck. You know, it was just me holding myself back. So I love that you mentioned that. And I've been practicing that with just very small things. You know, very small things that, you know, they really don't matter a whole lot, but they do matter, but they don't matter a whole lot. It's just gaining that confidence that comes with doing something outside of what I usually do. Yeah. So yes, that is such valuable advice. And for any of you listening, if you are feeling like, well, you don't really understand my situation. If you understood my situation, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, forget what I just said. I completely get with where you're at. I always think that sometimes just talking about those situations with your friends or family members or just someone that can help listen and support you is very helpful, because sometimes there are ideas of things that you could do that you're just not aware of because you're too close to the issue. So sometimes two heads are better than one, as they say. Other people can give you some words of encouragement or advice that maybe you didn't even naturally think of before. There are a couple friends that I go to whenever I'm feeling like that, and sometimes they'll say things. I'm like, oh wow, that is such a great idea. Maybe I should try to do it that way. I didn't even think about it, but it's so easy. You know, sometimes reaching out to those people that will your listening ear and help you forward. You can't find anybody in this world to help you. I'm always here to help encourage you. I love helping ladies in this area, and a lot of times they think that, I don't know, how is she going to respond? And before I know it, the conversation has ended and they've told me their whole life story. So if you don't have anybody else out there to help support you, just know that I've probably heard it all from somebody out there, and I will definitely help support you. Asia, I appreciate you so much. And everyone that is listening, I encourage you to share this content out with anybody else out there that you feel that could benefit. And if you want to share your experiences and share your story, no matter how challenging or successful it is, feel free to connect with me. And all of Asia's contact info will be in the description box as well. Asia, is there a particular type of person that you would love to be able to collaborate with?
Well, I am 3 years out of college, so I'm still finding my roots and what's interesting, or what's my purpose. So I'm open to anyone who thinks they have an idea and they're looking for someone who's willing to take chances and experiment, or if you just want to talk. I'm always looking for friends. So I'm open to anyone who just wants to talk to me and maybe have a question. That's fine. So,
awesome. You don't have too many people say that, you guys, too often. She just said she's open to friendly conversations. So take advantage of that. Thank you so much, Asia. I appreciate you. And for all of you listening, no matter where you are in the world, always remember to live a life full of meaning and purpose. Connect with me, subscribe, and share this content out. And I hope to see you in my next episode. I'll talk to you soon.